모든 경기장 도시형.
All right, so here we go, guys, for game number 7 between NSHoSeo and StarTale over here at the 8 o'clock position on Atlanta Spaceship. From Team NSHoSeo, we have the most recent GSL Code S champion, that is Jjakji. And his opponent over at the 1 o'clock position, that is the one, the only StarTale.July Zerg. He is our blue Zerg player. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, on the largest 1v1 map, or I'm sorry, 2-player map, I should say, that you can have. And
it's pretty big.
Yeah, this is going to make for a fun match, though.
Yeah, it's gigantic. I mean, July is obviously not going to be able to do any sort of 6 pool or something on this map.
Right.
I don't know. I think we're probably even going to see hatch first from him, which he does do. He can play a long game. He's a very good player. Obviously, he was a legend in Brood War. He was a Golden Mouse winner.
Right.
In StarCraft 2, he's done pretty well. He's gotten to a GSL Finals. He's generally in Code S most of the time. So overall, still a very strong Zerg. But I don't know. He's one of those players that's just got his own style. He's very, very unique.
Yeah, rather than like very, very hardcore 2 or 3 base aggression, we may have a situation where he plays defensively until he gets into 4 base. But I would assume that whenever he gets to that point where he feels comfortable with his macro, we're still going to see the same very July-esque hardcore aggression once he gets on what he considers to be a sufficient number of bases.
Yeah, I really feel like, though, he's got his work cut out for him. I mean, Jjakji right now is the best Terran versus Zerg player in the world, I think. I'd even rate him a little bit higher than MMA or MVP. He's just so good. So for a player like July, it's going to be really tough for him to kind of take this game. So we'll see.
Looks like Jjakji is showing us Reactor Hellion Expand. He's, of course, knows his opponent's style, and it looks like that's going to be to get some map control, not expand first. We've seen some players on this map and some of the larger 2-player maps as well that just go ahead and expand and then go into Reactor Hellions afterwards. We even saw that in GSL a couple of nights ago. So let's see here. As July, did you decide to put up, Extractor? Let's see if that came up first. Yeah, I think it did. They were pretty close, but he's going to have Speedlings very quickly after that hatch first build.
Yep, just wants to get the Speedlings out, wants to get his queens on the way. Probably be starting those 2 queens right when the first 2 hatcheries finish, of course. And, yeah, so pretty normal here. Looks like it's going to be Reactored Hellions for Jjakji as well. So basically the most normal thing in the world from both players right now. And we've got a little bit of time before anything really happens in this game.
Let's talk about this map real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
This is Atlanta Spaceship. This was one of the IPL Map Maker Tournament maps, and so you can take a look here. Your main to natural is pretty standard, and you have a relatively small choke point there. It is Forge Fast expandable, so it's pretty easy to take 2 bases here. But really, it's the walk distance from base to base, which really makes expansion safe here. As you can see, still going, still going, still going, still going. I'm there. And if you think about a unit trying to traverse that path, it takes quite a while. No gold bases here, but we do have these weird fourths, which have normal 8 mineral patches, normal 2 Vespian geysers, but then an extra rich Vespian geyser.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, and it's not too far away that a player could, try to take it as a 3rd, too.
Right.
Oh, is he going to get that Overlord? That would be a huge loss for July so early in the game. It's going to be close.
Oh, Overlord getting away.
Oh,
5-1.
He gets it.
Down.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's 100 minerals that July would have much rather spent on something else at this point.
Oh, yes. So those 2 Marines are going to try and run away and duck themselves into as best of a corner as they can. The Zerglings are going to do some damage as they retreat. Now, we also have 2 Xel'Naga towers out on the map, but they only cover, I'd say about 60% of the attack paths. This space right through here is actually not seen by the Xel'Naga towers, nor is all of this space down here to the south. So it actually requires to have very, very good map control with just units. In addition, you have kind of a Brood War-esque need for sending out small groups of units rather than one big concerted push necessarily, because of how easily small groups of units can attack like the 4th or 5th bases when you get into super late game macro situations.
Yeah, should be cool. July defending pretty well here against those Hellions. I don't think they're going to be able to get in and do any damage, but Jjakji is just creating a couple of them to get in there and try to kind of see what he can see.
And that was actually kind of funny.
He could run in there, honestly.
Yeah, I think he could have there for a little bit, but
yeah, he might decide to run some of them into the main just to kind of scout things out. We'll have to see.
All right.
He's got 4 of those there.
And looks like that Queen has taken a little bit of damage, but nothing to write home about quite yet. It did sufficient damage.
Your mom. It's great at camp, except I took some damage from Hellions today.
Signed
Love
Queen.
Zerg Queen.
Yes. And it looks like the Queen's going to come back for another pass here. Will eventually run away. Back on Jjakji's side of things, looks like just a tech lab coming up now on the factory. Was that just 4 Hellions? No, 6 Hellions were actually produced. The 2 that were produced are actually sitting back at home, though.
Oh, almost getting surrounded with those Zerglings. He does pick off
very
quite a few
nice.
of them. Yeah, good start for July Zerg, taking out some of those Hellions. That's going to give him a little bit more map control.
Helps, you know, weather the loss of that initial very early game Overlord as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is a way he can kind of push his opponent around the map, too. And July loves to do that kind of thing. He loves to kind of try to take control of the pace of the game.
Right. He's going to do a little bit more damage, but eventually these Zerglings are going to go down. Needs to start hitting that very, very hurt Hellion, and does he? Whoa! Okay, my cursor just disappeared, actually. There it is.
Weird.
Yeah, it just went
He did get
away
it.
for a second. Yeah, killed one of those
Technology.
Hellions.
Hooray. So
the vehicle of esports, etc., tasteless.
well, you can certainly see the aggression of July Zerg too. I mean, that he really wants to just do damage. He loves to just get in there and kill stuff. So most Zerg players would have let those Hellions go, but not July. He wants blood.
And July, very July-esque, 2 base layer tech with the Spire coming up now, so not waiting for subsequent expansions.
Yeah, he was known as one of the people to have some of the best Mutalisk control in Brood War. So that kind of has carried over to StarCraft 2. He loves to use Mutalisks and things like that. And he's going to get a lot of upgrades as well. Like you mentioned, those 2 Evo chambers. Nice creep spread, too, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Those Hellions really aren't going to be able to do too much more. There's a Queen and a few Zerglings that are sitting there. They are going to get a read on the 3rd, though.
Yep.
So that is spotted, and it looks like July actually, uncharacteristically, they're now pulling away.
Yep. That's right. Well, he didn't quite have enough Zerglings there anyway. I mean, he's crazy, but he's not too crazy here.
And looks like this is pretty standard stuff out of Jjakji. He's going to have 3 racks and move into Marine Tank medevac production. Of course, Baling Nest coming up for July as well. Mutiling Baling is a tried and true strategy that he's been using for a long period of time now. And he'll have, let's see how much gas he got saved up. He's going to have enough for, 6 going into 7 mutas whenever this Spire finally finishes.
Yeah, and Jjakji, by the same token, going into that Marine Tank play, he's also a really, really good player at doing a lot of drops at once, very kind of MMA-esque. So we could see something like that as well. It's going to make this kind of big push happen, and it'll hit right about when Combat Shields finishes. So this is going to be a pretty beefy push for Jjakji.
Yes, it is, as a matter of fact. We do have our first 7 Mutalisks coming up now. A lot of, actually, minerals saved up now for July. Of course, he's waiting on a bunch more larvae to pop out here, and he will start spamming some Zerglings and Banelings in a bit.
Yep, that's right. And Jjakji looks like he's going to go for the 3rd. All right,
Yep.
taking the long way around.
That supply depot wall, though, preventing this Ling run by. That would actually have been devastating if any of those supply depots have been down or whatever. So.
Oh, he's setting himself up to be flanked, though. He's got to be really careful. July, though, has to be careful, too, not to lose any more Zerglings than he needs
Certainly.
to.
And let's see here now as there's quite a few Zerglings out. Only 3 Banelings have actually been morphed in, though. There's the stem back, sieging up as a bunch of Zerglings are rolling in. But, whoa, so many Marines remain. That was very, very bad for July.
Yeah, July playing a little bit too economically aggressive here. Didn't have enough Zerglings to finish off the Marines or the tanks, and I don't know, I mean, with some reinforcements here, and maybe even without reinforcements, Jjakji might be able to take out this 3rd base.
Yeah, let's see, we have another 4 Banelings and 22 Zerglings popping up at the same time. There we go, good position with the Mutalisk on the high ground there, but he saves the Siege Tank, going to start repairing it and putting up a missile turret there, so his attack is just that much more powerful.
Yeah, Jjakji is just so good bringing some SCVs along like that. Oh, he needs to be careful with those Marines, though.
And it looks like a few Marines are buried here in amongst the Siege Tanks as well. 2 tanks have gone down. The 3rd one has gotten quite a few kills, but it will fall as well. So Jjakji's push is going to go down, but he did a considerable amount of damage.
Yeah, he definitely killed a lot of units. He does need to turn around with this little force here before he loses it. That's something that July could definitely take advantage of with a few more Lings and Mutalisks.
And let's see if he tries to surround this force here, and it looks like he is going to. Nope, and then decides to pull back.
For a little bit of reinforcements.
Yeah, there's the stem away as a couple of Mutalisks are pursuing now, and he eventually. Oh, he's waiting for the secondary push.
Oh, that's bad for July. Run away.
God. Wow.
Yeah.
A couple of lost mutas there. Does manage to pick off 1 more tank, but still. That's a pretty big loss for him. Yeah, the Mutalisks are something that July really can't afford to lose at this point. Right. He needs those to harass. He needs those to make sure his opponent stays behind him in terms of economy. And he lost quite a few there, and it's going to be really tough for him to do what he needs to do with those now. All right. Well, the Planetary Fortress was picked up on, so that's where Jjakji's going to make his stand for the time being as he continues to macro. No 4th CC quite yet, but he's putting in a bunch of missile turrets to make sure he stays safe against those mutas. Back here, though, for July, he's moving up to his 4th base. And he's on pretty good tech. He's got 2-2 upgrades coming for his ground units with +1 attacks for his air.
Great turret placement for Jjakji.
Yeah.
Too. Really doing a good job of zoning out those Mutalisks.
And let's see here. Pretty good creep spread from July at the moment, though. So he's continuing. Looks like he's actually making himself an attack path. This isn't the kind of creep spread where he's trying to take over the entire map. He just wants to build himself a nice attack path, a creep highway, so to speak.
Yep. And for those of you who might not be aware, the more creep tumors you have in the same place, the faster the creep actually spreads from them too.
Yep, they do stack. So. But that 4th base for July actually coming up next to that rich Vespian Geyser, which is going to be fun because I certainly think he'll find a way to take advantage of that nicely.
Mutalisk wants to use it. He's like, no, you're a Mutalisk. You can't mine gas.
Oh.
You just cost a lot.
I'm just imagining this sad book about the Mutalisk who wants to be a drone growing up.
The Mutalisk almost was a drone.
Yes.
They all started as a larva.
And so let's see here. Good pack of mutas, but July is back in supply right now, and Jjakji admittedly is hitting his upgrades as well. He's got Thors being thrown in to help against that anti-air, or to help for anti-air. So this is a precarious situation for July. He pulls off this 4th base. He's looking to be in a pretty good spot, but Jjakji is assembling a huge force in the middle.
Jjakji is just so solid. He's got all the timings down so well. He knows exactly when he needs what, or when July's going to do something. He knows where he needs it to. The Mutalisk for July, there's quite a few of them there, and it looks like he's going to be able to kill some supply depots, but Jjakji's still just right away there with the Marines, and Jjakji taking out a few more mutas.
Yeah, it looks like July really wants to push this, though. He really wants to try and do as much damage as possible, stop these supply depots, stop these engineering bases. He is certainly forcing Jjakji back, and Jjakji actually has a trapped Thor there.
No,
that would have been
horrible.
Big in the defense. Finally gets picked up by a medevac, but that would have been there a long time ago.
Yeah, he could have used that. That would have been really nice. You can really see July's good muta control there, too, kind of making the most out of that situation.
Right.
His Mutalisk army is so damaged, though, right now. Just select those guys. Look at that.
You go.
All the colors of the rainbow, almost. It's like the Skittles pack.
And the Thor's being lifted back. Had to actually destroy one of his own add-ons there.
Yeah.
To be able to get those free.
I think every Terran's had that happen to them in the past.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
It's always fun when it's your first unit that pops out, too. If you do something silly like that, then you just want to cry.
Well, it's much better your first unit than like your 8th, and things just kind of stack up and get stuck like that.
I remember when we did the litter box episode where the guy had all his tanks trapped back on Zelnaga Caverns.
That's right.
Anyway, so looks like there are enough missile turrets. It is going to force July away, at least temporarily. He does pick off another supply depot, though. Few Marines are stemming themselves up. A nice job here by July. If he does manage to pick off the engineering bay, that would be very critical.
Ooh, July, though, really overcommitting with those mutas. You know, he's still got quite a few, but they've all taken a lot of damage again. I mean, and July is going to need those at some point. I mean, Jjakji's going to push, and when he does, July might be in a bit of trouble.
Jjakji going to his 4th, July going to his 5th, as Hive Tech is going to finish up in
Look at the supply right now.
Yeah, July, he's waiting to invest in something at the moment, but he's not set himself any tech. He just needs units now. There's the Ultralisk Cavern. It looks like he's just waiting temporarily until he can put a lot of money into Ultras, but that is awfully risky, especially with Jjakji going to be maxed here in a second.
Yeah, I don't know if Ultras are going to really be the best answer here as well. I mean, does he have a lot of Infestors out right now? He doesn't really have any, so it's not like he can trap the Marines and let the Ultralisks get to them either.
Right.
So generally, especially against a player like Jjakji, that's macro is so good, a lot of times he's going to have enough stuff to handle those Ultras. So I think Broodlords would work a lot better in this situation.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll have to see how it works out for July. It's still anybody's game at this point, but July definitely has some catching up to do.
I definitely agree. I was a little bit surprised as well. I mean, his opponent has not invested in anything except, or in any starport.
What
units.
just happened there,
so
man?
Well, no starport units except for medevacs, and doesn't actually have a lot of them. So his starport infrastructure is not great. I think the Broodlord switch would really do a lot of damage, but there it is. The rest of the supply being used for Ultras, and we have a really late game scenario on our hands. The map is starting to be split.
Nice. I love it. I mean, July with some good muta harass and all the Lings with all the upgrades and the Ultras could do a lot of damage to Jjakji. It depends a lot on how this engagement is going to work out. You can see Jjakji not really putting down planetaries for his bases, either going with just orbitals. He's that confident in his Marines and Marauders and the rest of his army. Not really any Marauders this time.
Right.
What I'm saying is he's confident.
And actually, nice job there by July. Pokes him with a couple of units and gets the Siege Tanks to fire on the O Marines. So Good job. A couple of sensor towers now up for Jakji, though, so he is remaining exceptionally safe, trying to remax and just produce as many upgrades as he can. How many ghosts does he have out? I know he finished the Ghost Academy with Mobius Reactor. There's personal cloaking following that.
Yep, just getting the upgrades so that when he gets into that late game
Right.
situation, he can start making the ghosts and have them pop out, you know, all ready to go, basically.
5 Infestors coming out now. Both players on exactly 77 workers and banking a ton of resources, so we could very well be in for the long haul.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, no cancel there for July Zerg losing that hatchery.
Yeah, not the biggest deal for him. I like how Jakji consciously didn't pick up and try to get away. He instead just sat there and healed up those Marines as much as possible.
Did you see that he lost all 5 banelings, killing like 4 Marines there too? That was a little bit odd.
So Jakji, with just good decision making there, ends up doing the best thing possible. Now we do finally have Greater Spire following this up. So we're going to, and there's the second Spire for continued upgrade, so there will eventually be a Broodlord switch.
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of these Zerg players have been getting that second Forge, or not second Forge, second Spire lately for the air upgrades, just to try to make their Broodlords that much more powerful, that much quicker.
Right.
And it's a big investment. It takes a lot of time, but it's kind of cool to see people try it, I gotta say.
All right. Well, this has been a pretty exciting game, as is for being a relative passive micro game, as any or macro game as anything with July usually is. But now it looks like we're going to have a big drop over on the left-hand side at the same time that Mutalisks are trying to pull units away. So here comes the drop.
Which Overlord is the Ultralisk in? It looks like just 2 of them right now, and July doing some decent damage here.
Yes, he is. As a matter of fact, he's going to pull a lot of units back for Jakji. Did force a stim out of those as well. And, of course, he has so many resources banked that as soon as this Greater Spire finishes up and a little bit of supply gets freed, he is actually just going to be able to put up a ton of Broodlords. There's finally some snipes I was looking for, but a good number of units did go down. July's going to need a few additional Overlords here in just a second, but still, nice job from him.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, some nukes on the way from Jakji. That is becoming such a cool way for Terran to kind of mess with Zerg in the late game, you know, nuking hatcheries, causing them to at least lose some mining time. You know, you can use it to zone out Broodlords later in the game. It's so cool that players are starting to find practical uses for nukes, too, in different matchups.
Yeah, practical uses for nukes. We've also seen players that are actually going after Mothership and Broodlords whenever you have PvZ as well. So the game has developed in a very fun way lately. And there we go. Now the freed up supply, 6 Broodlords on the way. More could certainly be produced here in just a second. 2 more Ghost Academies coming up as well. Terran building armor, because why not?
Yeah, well, I mean, at this stage in the game, you definitely want to get everything that you can to help you survive. Adding on some Marauders, too. Rather than add on a bunch of Ghosts, he's going to go for Marauders. Now, that's something that's a little bit more old school. That is a lot of Broodlords.
That's a lot of sensor towers.
Oh,
Look at the
Marauders.
sensor tower coverage.
Those Marauders are not going to be very helpful against the Broodlords.
No.
They will work against the Ultras, I guess, that are out there.
Vikings,
11
really.
Ghosts. Yeah, he's going to rely mostly on Ghosts, and that's something that some Terrans have been kind of starting to do more often. Is just kind of forgetting Vikings and going mostly for Ghosts. I think it's better too. It's more difficult to play, but in the end, I think it's better to go Ghosts than Vikings.
This is a ridiculous army, though. There are actually 8 more Corruptors tailing this as well. So, he could. I'm surprised actually a little bit he's not. He is making 9 Spine Crawlers right now to free up some supply. There we go. There's the additional Broodlords I was looking for. Does need a couple extra Overlords thrown into the mix as well, though.
Yep, that's right. He's going to try to go over 200 supply with this. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is kind of ridiculous. I mean, we are in ultra late game mode already. All possible tech, really, for our Zerg player is already out there. Jakji with a few nukes prepared at the same time. I've been waiting for that nuclear launch detected.
He's also making 4 command centers and 3 Vikings in a row, or 3 Vikings at once.
Yeah.
And making another starport. So we're going to go into way late game TVZ right now, where Terran is basically air plus ghosts.
Yes.
And Zerg is kind of Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor.
Oh my god.
Should be pretty cool. That is so many Broodlords.
16 Broodlords with +2 attacks and +1 Carapace here in just a second. Broodling Strike is so powerful. Here we go. Big drop on the left-hand side for Jakji. Going to try and pull some forces back for July. July actually only has 2 Zerglings on the ground. That's all that's really going to be able to react to this.
Yep, that's right. Oh no, here he goes. I don't know if that's the best engagement for the Mutas, but July just may want to replace the supply with something else. The Broodlords, though, doing a lot of damage. Jjakji sieging up, actually.
Yeah, and so the splash damage is going to hurt many of these ghosts. Quite a bit of damage is going to be done now. Jjakji is dropping on the top left-hand corner. Do we have any overseers or any detection whatsoever? I don't think we do. He's just waiting on these ghosts to lose all of their energy, and the Broodlords eventually are going to kill them all off. Here are the Marines, so not really able to do anything. There's plenty of Spinecrawlers there to go ahead and defend.
It's like a flood of Broodlings. It's like so many
Wow.
Broodlings. You could make like one of those fun ball pits at like a fast food place. Broodlings. That wouldn't be quite as fun, I think, as the plastic balls.
And there are actually 4 queens inside of that Overlord for some transfusions if and when the time comes. But yeah.
Oh, I heard a nuke.
Uh-oh. Where's it at? It's down here at the bottom right-hand corner. Oh, looks like a couple have already hit. Yeah.
Already did nuke it once. There was a lot going on, so I guess we missed that. Not a lot to see there. Just kind of a nuke hitting hatchery.
The ghost actually did kill 5 drones, it looks like. So
yeah,
a little bit of damage done, and it will finish it up.
2 shots.
Boom.
Hatchery's dead.
There it goes.
Yeah.
And that ground is radioactive. All right.
Yep. Can't build another hatchery on there for like 80 years or whatever it is. I don't know.
That is a lot of corruptors. And unfortunately, July is maxed right now, so those are not going to become Broodlords anytime soon. They would be able to basically one-shot that command center, though. Where is the nuke at this time?
Where is it? I heard it.
Is it in the middle of the map?
I think it might be in one of the bases just to your right, maybe.
Let's see here.
No?
That one?
Might have gotten canceled, too.
Okay. Well, we're going to find out, though, because here comes the big attack. Bunch of corruptors up at the front, but, of course, they're going to take out the vast majority of the Vikings and the medevacs. Hopefully, it's going to allow the Broodlords to do the rest of the damage at the back. But look at this. The Marines are just charging their way through, and nothing is stopping them. The Broodlords are dying so quickly. July now down to 118 supply.
Yeah, really, really huge
10
there.
ultras.
The snipes made such a big difference. Oh, and the big ultra switch, from July Zerg. We'll see if it catches Jjakji off guard. I don't know. He's still going to have snipe. That's good against basically anything Zerg has in the late game.
And he's still making Marauders as well, so it's not like those are going to be lacking at all.
Yeah.
Waiting for where this nuke was actually going to be at, but we don't see anything at the moment.
I don't think he's getting too much opportunity to nuke at this point.
No, not at all.
And he's already done some decent damage with them as well, so...
All right. Well, looks like Jjakji's going to roll his way up. He's about max one more time and has quite a few more resources banked in. Holy mules!
Wow.
Where is that income rate at? Yeah, that's
pretty high.
That's skyrocketing.
It's pretty big.
Yep, it's pretty good, yo.
Yep.
Whew.
Not
4,400. Okay.
That will be a lot of income. July going for Ultra Broodlord Infester, which is a good late game composition. He can drop some Banelings if he wants to on his opponent.
There, I heard a nuke. That's the one I was looking for. July immediately picks up on it, though. He's going to sack. He could actually move away some of these Spinecrawlers if he wanted to.
Look out. Drone.
Yes. Single solitary drone.
Drone.
Oh, we heard another nuke as well. It's over on the right-hand side. That one hits. The one over on the right-hand side is
another
coming up.
nuke going down, too.
Over on the left-hand side. So he's actually just continually nuking this as July starts moving through the middle. This one's going to do some damage, though.
All the larva being lost, too, is huge.
God.
And that's going to finish off some more spines.
Boom.
Yep.
All right, here comes the big attack, though. Ultras punishing their way through the front, but there are so many tanks and Marauders sitting there. Snipes hitting quite a few of those Ultras as well, and the Ultra army is just melting.
Wow, yeah, Marauders, Thors, Bunkers, tanks, so many Marines with Stim. July's army just did not stand a chance. Oh, he's going to lose all his Broodlords now, too. And after losing all those drones,
oh, no.
I just can't see July winning this game.
No, 73 supply right now. It's going to be exceptionally difficult. There is another nuke hitting the hatchery on the right-hand side. One on the left as well. Is July even aware of this? As Jjakji pushes right up through the front, this is not a fun situation for him to be in. There's the nuke on the right. Boom. There's the nuke on the left. Boom. And that hatchery's almost dead as well.
Yeah, I mean, those eggs getting killed, too. Who knows what was coming out of those?
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Oh, no, and GG is called. July is knocked out in a 33-minute game on Atlantis Spaceship. Jjakji has put NSHoSeo just one game away.